attention all small business owners, or frankly anyone that's thinking about jumping into the entrepreneurial game. There's a lot of things that come with being a small business owner that you may not be too savvy at. Don't worry about it. There's pros you can bring in, but there's probably nothing more important than bookkeeping. You got to keep track of who owes who and who you owe and who needs to bring you money, etc. You can't do it on your own. You don't have to. There's people out there. That's what their business is, and that's where we are today on All In. The name of the business we're going to be talking to is Flaherty Solutions. Erin Flaherty is our guest right here on All In. Hey, Erin, how are you today? Great to see you.
Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You know, I don't want to undersell what you do because, frankly, it doesn't matter what the business is. There's going to be books, and they need to be kept properly for a variety of reasons. That's what you guys do. Let me ask you something, Erin. Before you had Flaherty Solutions, did you have a background in bookkeeping? Have you been doing this a little while?
I actually did not. I was in mortgages when I was in my early 20s. But besides that, I was really good at math, and I actually never took an accounting course. This is a need that I realized that is it's very needed in the business world, and I took a hold of it, and here we are today.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's what's great about people like yourselves who start small businesses, because a lot of people have the exact same track, find a hole and fill it. And as I mentioned, it doesn't matter what the business is, every business needs bookkeeping. You know, one of the big misnomers out there is a lot of people say, well, I have an accountant, I don't need a bookkeeper. Well, it's not exactly the same thing, is it? Could you give us your professional advice of the difference between what an accountant does and what a bookkeeper does?
Most CPAs or enrolled agents just want to focus on the tax planning and the taxes. We do everything that gets them ready to file their taxes. So we actually track the financials weekly, monthly, throughout the year, so that when it is tax time, they can take our finished product, the financial reports, to their tax preparer, and filing taxes is much easier and it's accurate. It's more accurate than the business owner doing it themselves.
Well, it's much better, and when you have all the ducks in a row, so to speak, let's just put it this way. When it's time to pay taxes, everybody has to do it at once, and the people that have been smart enough to bring you on board to have everything in the right position, you're going to get it done on time, you're going to get it done quicker, and frankly, you're probably going to get it done cheaper because you're not having to backtrack and at the last minute try to come up with a lot of information. Obviously, your services are always in demand. Everybody needs them. But I'm just curious, has COVID had an impact on you guys? I mean, are you still in demand, more in demand? How does that play into the situation?
We're more in demand because people still have to file taxes. And then you had unknowns this year, unprecedented events and loans and grants that businesses had to make sense of. So you not only had your regular taxes that needed to be done, but you had EIDL loans, Paycheck Protection Program loans that need sorting out. So we have been more in demand. We've also been more in demand with companies that used to hire in-house professionals to do their bookkeeping and controller services, and now they're turning to an outsourced remote model like ours. So can't complain about business this year.
You know, it's interesting you use that term outsourced remote. We hear that a lot here on the show, frankly, and it's not just for your services, it's a lot of services in general. I think moving forward, there's going to be a lot more of that because people realize these days, you know what, this whole digital thing works. I really can get a lot of stuff done remotely, and I don't need a full-time person. I just bring them in when something needs to be done. And it's even to the position to where the communication is so great now to where it's simple to line up a Zoom call, much like we have today, as a matter of fact, to get in touch with someone, to keep up with the books at all times. What's a typical client for you? What size companies do you work with? Is it all over the board?
We typically service startups to $10 million in annual revenue. Beyond that, normally they do have an in-house person, or maybe they have another situation, but we're seeing startups to $10 million a year. And that not only helps us help them file their taxes, but it enables them to plan and look at where they are throughout the year. The more mature businesses are able to look back with us and say, what happened this year and what happened this quarter and how can we plan for the future rather than just being reactive and filing taxes.
You know, earlier, Erin, you were mentioning all the wacky things that are going on this year all over the world, specifically in the business world with grants and loans and such. How do you keep up with that? I mean, obviously the business owners are freaking out, but they need to bring in someone like you. But frankly, this is all new to you as well. How are you able to stay on top of everything?
It's interesting that you mentioned that because nobody is an expert. This is the first time all of us are doing something like this. Hopefully it'll be the last that we have to deal with stimulus, things like this. But we are learning as new legislation is passed. We're learning along with everybody else. And then we work really well in conjunction with the business owners, CPA, who are also learning at the same time. A lot of people think that we're in competition with CPAs and enrolled agents. And we work really well with them because we sort of bounce ideas off of each other and make sure that we're doing this properly. And we have 2 and 3 sets of eyes look at the forgiveness applications, and we're learning, but we're diligent like we do in everything else that we do.
I totally get that, because here's the deal. There's so many things flying at us from all corners, and I say us as business owners, all this new stuff coming at us that we have to fend off. And if we can get one little piece of it, actually a big piece, the bookkeeping part, over here to somebody else so we can go take care of everything else, it gives us that comfort to know that this is being handled. And at the same time, quite frankly, I may just own one business, but you're going to work with multiple businesses. You're going to go over this stuff over and over and over, get better and better at it, help build a network with CPAs, other bookkeepers like yourself. So you have all this common knowledge over here that I would never have myself as a business owner. So I absolutely get it. I can see that right now. So in a perfect world, let's say pre-COVID, when there's none of the loans and the grants and whatnot going on, what's a typical thing that you keep up with for people to make sure that everything is where it needs to be?
We handle everything from monthly bookkeeping, tracking the income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. So monthly bookkeeping is our most basic service, but we will go all the way up to full-time controller services where we are paying the bills, making sure that the budget is in line with the current spending. So budget versus actual. We will create invoices on behalf of our clients. So if their invoices are very complicated, we will handle that for them. So all parts of the financial department except for filing income tax returns.
Yeah, I was just thinking of all the reasons we need to keep up with the books. And one of the big reasons is if it comes time when someone's looking to purchase a company, they're going to say, oh, I need to see your books. Well, you need to make sure that the books are nice and neat and accurate. I can see you being a big asset for that when someone's looking to sell, or even if they don't want to sell, but they need to go in and get a loan. Do you help a lot with that, well, to get everything in a nice package for them so they can take care of getting a loan if they need one?
Absolutely, because we are maintaining the books throughout the year, just so, again, they don't have to be reactive. They can be proactive, and all they have to do is give us a call, or if we've recently sent reports, they're up to date automatically, whether the business owner expects them to be or not. I mean, our clients are always up to date, so we can turn around those reports in record time so that they can go procure their loan.
Okie doke. And last but not least, we keep periodically, we're putting your information here on the screen if someone wants to reach out to you, but I did pick this up in the notes and I'm going to hold you to it. You mentioned in the notes that people can get in touch with you for a free consultation. First time they talk to you, you'll just talk to them and not charge them. How does that work?
We will have a conversation, 30 minutes for free, and we're not punching the clock or anything like that, but we will have a free consultation with you, so you will know exactly what needs to be done to get your bookkeeping situation up to date. And we won't charge you for that, but we will let you know what we can do for you in the future.
You know, that is outstanding. And I'm going to add something else because so many people don't realize this. Your first thought is somebody's going to call and ask questions, but with a free consultation, you're going to end up answering questions that frankly they don't even know to ask in the first place, because a lot of times this is all new to them, and so they're asking their little standard questions. You can answer those and then say, oh, by the way, you're going to need this, and we can help you with that as well. Very nice of you to do that. It sounds like a great business. I'm glad to hear that it's one that COVID didn't negatively impact. Thank you so much for taking care of everyone you work with, Erin. Appreciate sharing your story.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.